to Litbit channel. Today we will see the short story The Lost Child by Mulk Raj Anand. Anand was an Indian writer in English recognized for his depiction of his lives of the poorer caste in traditional Indian society. He was born on December 12, 1905 in Barishwar to a Hindu Khatri family. He studied at Khalsa College in Amritsar, graduating with honor in 1924, and then he moved to England, then where he attended the University College London and later earned a PhD in philosophy from Cambridge University in 1929. The novel Untouchable was published in 1935 and is a chilling expose of the lives of Indian untouchable caste. He went on to write many other novels, short stories, and essays, and was a founding member of the Progressive Writer Association. He received several awards and honors for his contribution to literature, especially International Peace Prize in 1953, Padma Bhushan in 1967, Satya Academy Award in 1971 for Morning Face. He is one of the pioneers of Indo-Anglian fictions, and his works are noted for their perspective insight into the lives of the oppressed and their analysis. His works are Untouchable in 1935, Coolie in 1936, Two Lives and Bud in 1937, The Village 1939, Across the Black Water 1942, The Sword and the Sakal 1942, The Private Life of an Indian Prince 1953. Character of the story. First one is the child, the parent, and the stranger. The child, the protagonist of the story, a young boy who gets lost in the fair. He is an innocent and naive and curious and eager to explore and demanding and stubborn at times and emotional and attached to his parents. The parent, the child's parents who take him to the fair, they are loving and caring and busy and distracted and refuse to buy the child everything he asks for. There is the stranger, a kind and sympathetic man who tries to help the lost child. He is gentle and understanding, offering the child comfort and support, tries to reunite the child with his parent. The stranger in the story are not named and the focus is on the child's emotions and experience. The story explores the child's journey from the excitement and curiosity to fear and desperation, and ultimately to reliefs and joys when he is reunited with his parents. The story highlights and revolves around a young child who gets separated from his parents in a crowd fair. The child is initially excited to explore the fair, but his excitement turns to panic when he realizes he is lost. He searches for his parents but cannot find them. A kind stranger tries to comfort him, but the child is desperate to be reunited with his parents. Eventually, the child and his parents are reunited, and the child is overcome with joy and relief. The story is a heart-wrenching portrayal of the child experience and emotions and explore the universal theme of loss and reunion. Time set in the spring season, that location takes place in a village and a fair, and the cultural context set in a rural Indian society where people are dressed in colorful attire and children are fascinated by toys, sweets and swings, and atmosphere has festive atmosphere with people enjoying the spring seasons and the fair. The plot of the summary is the story revolves around a child who gets lost in the fair and his desire to find his parents. The story, the title The Lost Child, symbolizes the boy's physical and emotional journey and getting lost and finding his way back to safety and security. The season described in the story is spring. In that spring, themes and symbolism of new life and growth may be seen as a symbolic of the child's growing awareness and his experience of the world around them. The descriptions help create a festive and celebratory atmosphere which immerses the readers in the story and makes the child's later experience more poignant. And it establishes a vibrant atmosphere. First things to mention about the spring season. Next one to mention about the sunshines and nature of the village and the river. Many of the people entered the flooded sea of sparkling silver shines towards the fair. In that fair, some of them walked, some of them rode on the horse, and the others sat at back, and some carried in bamboo and bullock carts. In the midst of the story, the child entered with his parents over with joy and laughter. On the way, he enjoys into the field full of flowers and song. He distracted something. His parents called, "Come, child, come." That time alone he lagged behind. Afterwards, he attracted by the toys in the shop that lined on the way. Their parent calls, but his eyes still admire on the toys. He couldn't suppress with his desire of his heart, even though his old cold and his staring eyes on the toys. And he asked, "I want that toy," he pleaded. But his father looked angrily, and he shows powerful and cruel ruler. His sister melted with free spirit, and giving him her finger to catch, and said, "Look, child, what before you." Mother, to distract the child, thought. The mustard field that looks pale like a melting gold and providing a cool and shady place with plants and leaves growing together. So that time the boy moved around in a circular movement. Then they cross a stream that flows in a large river running in a constant sunny sweep towards the distance. That is strange effect caused by the hot air, in which you think you can see things that are not there, of a ocean of silver light. We attracted by the little insects and worms along the footpath. The parent called, "Come, child, come." They are seated on the edge of the well. He ran towards them. Author to mention about some old banyan tree, blossoming jack and jamun and neem and champak, and to mention gulmar. So everything blushing blooms freely offered their adoration to the sun. In that time, he enjoys showers of flowers petals upon the child, and he entered the grove and running, forgetting his parents and enjoying raining petals that time. He heard the cooing of a dove and running towards his parents and shouting, "Dove, dove." He dropped all the raining petals. His curious look of his parents, but they are not freely expressed their love. His parents called, "Come, child, come." That time the boy running like a short jumping and dancing movement. After they entered the fair, first he met the sweetmeat seller. The sweetmeat seller had gulab jamun, rasagulla, burfi, jalebi that smells, colors, and decorated with the leaves of silver and gold. Asked burfi, that was his favorite sweet. He asked, "I want that burfi," but he knew his parents to refuse that, so he, without waiting for an answer, so he moved on. Flower seller, a garland of gulmar. That flower smelled to paid attention and unable to refuse that, because that is too strong sweetness of the scent floating on the air. That he half murmured, "I want garland," but he know his parents to refuse that, so without waiting for an answer, so he moved on. One, a balloon seller, he holding colorful balloons, that is yellow, red, green and purple balloons flying from it. I tried to carry a rainbow and silver colored balloons, but he difficult to find against with. Well, his parents would never buy him the balloons because they would say he was too old to play with such toys. So he walked on farther. Met the snake juggler to playing a flute to a snake which coiled itself in the basket. Wants towards juggler, but his parents forbidden him, so he moved on. Next, the roundabout in full swing, men, women, child are wrangling motion. They are cried with dizzying laughter. This time he made a bold request, "I want to go on the roundabout. Please, father and mother." There was no reply. He turned to look at his parents. They were not there. Ahead of him, then he turned to look on either and thither. They were not there. He looked behind. There was no sign of them. A full deep cry rose within his dry throat, and with a sudden jerk of his body, he ran from where he stood, crying in red fear, "Father, mother!" Tears rolled down from his eyes, hot and fear. The poor child, struggling to trust way between their feet, but knocked to and fro by the brutal movement, he made the loudest pitch of his voice, "Father, mother." At that moment, a man moving forward very quickly, crowd heard his cry and stopping with very great difficulty lifted him up in his arm. He asked, "How did you get here, child? Whose baby are you?" The man asked as he steered clear of the mass. He wept more bitterly than ever now and cried only, "I want my father, I want my mother." The man tried to soothe him by taking him to the roundabout. "Will you have a lift on the horse?" he gently asked. He approached the ring. But the boy, he only shouted, "I want my mother, I want my father." Headed towards the place where the juggler, still playing on the flute to the dancing cobra. "Listen to the nice music, child," he pleaded. But the child shouted his double pinched strain, "I want my mother and my father." The man took him near the balloon, thinking the bright colors of the balls which distract the child's attention quietened him. "Would you like this rainbow colored balloon?" The child turned his eyes from the flying balloon and just sobbed, "I want my mother, I want my father." The man, still asking for something in the annoying way to make the child happy, bore him to gate where the flower seller sat. "Look, child, can you smell those nice flowers, child? Would you like a garland to put around your neck?" Again the child sobbed, "I want my father, I want my mother." The man, extremely sad and hopeless, and charged by a gift of sweets. The man took him to the counter of the sweet shop. "What sweet would you like, child?" he asked. That time also he sobbed, "I want my mother, I want my father." In this story explores the themes of childhood innocence, fears and strugglings of survival. Through the boy experience, Anand highlights the vulnerability of the children and the importance of the protection and care. The story also touches on the issues of poverty and the struggles of daily life, as the child's parents are likely struggling to make ends meet. The narrative style is simple and direct with a focus on the boy emotions and experience. The author used vivid imagery and sensory details to bring the fair and the boy's journey to life. The story is a powerful portrayal of the child's perspective and the testaments to the reliance of the human spirit. Overall, The Lost Child is moving and thought-provoking story that explores the complexities of a childhood and human experience. Thank you viewers. Thanks for watching this video.